a seat. Are you here to discuss cars today? Yeah, so welcome to the Peugeot dealership. Yeah, no worries. So we're in my office at the minute, but obviously, have you had a look around at the cars? Yeah, you've had a look at a few different models. Okay, so what is it you're actually after today? Let me just make a few notes. Okay, so you're looking for a new car, and you're looking for it on finance. Nice. Yeah, I'm just making a few notes here. There we go. So like you say, looking for a new car on finance. Yep. Are you looking for the just add fuel model, or are you getting it based on a personal hire, like personal contract plan? PCP. Yeah, no worries. So basically at Peugeot, what we do is we have something called a passport. If I briefly talk to you about that, say you set your either a fixed monthly amount or a set term of agreement, so 24, 36 or 48 months. Yes, so 2, 3 or 4 years. Put a deposit down on the car, pay a set monthly fee over the next however long the term is, and that will pay part of the finance or part of the car off. Okay, and then at the end of that you either hand the car straight back, and then that's that done. Or you can pay the final amount, the final finance agreement, and then the car is yours officially after them 4 years. Yeah. Okay, so that's just a little bit about that. You will do that. Okay, yeah. See, a lot of people are moving. A lot of people did move from the PCP onto the Just Add Fuel because it worked out a little bit cheaper. You got your insurance included, which a lot of people, especially new drivers or new to owning a new car, not just going from a second-hand car to a new car. A lot of people are doing that just because it's hassle-free, basically. Yep. And yeah, but more people are going from it because, like I say, the insurance companies have to be either very, very aggressive with their marketing, so they'll drive their prices down to match what everyone else is paying at the dealerships, or vice versa. Our insurance companies that are external from us put their prices up because more people are moving on to it. They might as well up the prices. So that's tend to have happened over the past couple of years. So more people are moving back onto the personal plans. Okay, so I remember seeing you a year ago. Did you manage to find a car? You didn't. Okay, that's no worries. But again, you're back to look today, and you definitely want one. Okay, no worries. So we're going to be discussing that with you. So if I take you on to have a look at this website for me, this is the Peugeot dealership. What models are you looking for? Is it the 208? Okay, so you need something a little bit higher up. No worries. So what I think might be very good, and there's a reason for this. So if you have a look here, we have the 108. That's a very basic model, hasn't been updated this year, unfortunately. You can see it's still got the old front end, whereas these 208, I think, which you looked at last year, yep. I have the new front ends, the same as the 308, and then you've got the 2008. Now, anything with the E symbol come as an electric car, as well as the petrol and diesel variants, and then this little symbol means you can also have a plug-in hybrid. So these two big, they'll be well out. What is your budget at the minute, I'm afraid to ask? Okay, no worries, that's actually reasonable. So yeah, with the 208, it's just like your ordinary family car. Same with the 308, is a little bit longer. However, like you say, you want something a little more off the ground. So you want something like a mini SUV. So the 2008 and the 3008 we can look at. But if you are looking for a slightly smaller budget, we do have the 2008. Jump to have a look at that for you. Yep. So that is one of the ones you were looking at. That's perfect. So on the road price, are you looking to have the electric model or just the standard petrol/diesel model? Okay, yeah. So the plug-in car grant. So whether it's electric or hybrid, this one specifically is the electric model, the E2008. It does have the what's it called? The plug-in car grant from the government of £2,500. £2,000. So basically that means towards a deposit for the car, the government puts something towards it because, you know, they're trying to move people onto electric vehicles to lower the emissions. Oh, you can't have an electric, but okay, no, I understand. No, that's completely fine. See, where I live as well, is rented accommodation, well not accommodation, but rented housing. I did inquire when we went to look for a car, and the actual like electric thing can go on the wall, but because it will be over the path where it's plugged in, and because the path is not necessarily a public path, but it's there for all of the residents, it becomes an insurance liability that can't necessarily be controlled. So yeah, I completely understand. So just looking at the normal one, okay. So on the road price, the basic model is £21,035. Combined fuel consumption in miles per gallon is 41.7 to 65.7. That is miles to the gallon. Combined CO2 emissions between 113 and 153 grams per kilometre. If we take a quick look, enjoy the unexpected sensations of electric driving. Obviously, that won't be part of you because that's the electric. I don't know what's happened up here. So the design behind the fluid and robust silhouette and raised ground clearance, which is something that we mentioned. We want it a little bit higher off the ground. On a masterful power and immense space. Its faceted profile follows closely along the strong lines and sculpted side panels to create a style that is sharp and aggressive. Now that is probably something that you've noticed. You know, you've got these distinct lines throughout the car. If you look at the back, you can see these distinct lines. It's not whereas the front end can be rounded. Like if you're looking from a front view, it's very rounded in these areas. But if you're looking at in terms of like the side view, there are lots of lines and shapes, and I do think it makes it look very sleek. Yes, so part of the setup which we'll go through in a minute is looking at this iCockpit. So something that you may want to have a look at is I wish that we could take a look at this in a little bit more detail if they've got the correct images. I'm not sure whether they added it to the website yet or whether it's coming soon. Probably not. That's on the technology. We'll go through these in a little while, but that's on the E. Yeah, there we go. So we'll take you through it because we'll configure the normal one. So we're looking at the car. When it decides to load, there we go. So escape the ordinary in this first-time model with Peugeot 3D iCockpit, the next generation technology. So there is two versions of this. We have the normal basic cockpit, which is in the Active Premium and the Allure. Those come with the normal ordinary cockpit that we've redesigned for the newer 2020 to 21 model cars. With the Active Premium, which is the one that starts at 21,035 or 257 a month, which we can rearrange that soon and sort out how much you can afford. It comes with a 16-inch alloy wheels, the modular boot floor. Now that was that mentioned to you? Because I get a lot of questions about this, and I think it's one of the best features that comes with the car. It's something as simple as having a modular boot floor, which a lot of cars do. But with the 2008, it's the perfect clearance. It gives you that clearance to put the parcel shelf in. If you need to remove the parcel shelf, it always gets in the way, doesn't it? You always have to either try and tuck it behind your seats if you're out and about and you take off the parcel shelf. But if you're at home, you end up just leaving it in your house. Then it gets stuck there for a week because you forget to put it back in. But, you know, it's something like that they've thought about, and it actually makes so much sense. And when we take you out to look at the car soon enough, I'll show you that in a bit more detail. It does come with the rear parking sensors and the automatic air conditioning and the electric folding door mirrors. So that's just the basic model that we do. On all of our cars, if you do choose the finance option, there is a Peugeot deposit contribution which we can talk through. Yep. The Allure, that comes with the 17-inch wheels. The reversing camera comes with the electric parking brake, so instead of having to have a pulley handle, there's a clicky handbrake. In my opinion, it just makes a lot more sense. You don't technically notice it a lot because the way that the car interacts with the electronic systems in the car. If you've turned your engine on and you want to pull away, as long as your clutch is up and you're going to go, it will automatically turn itself off. It's something that we've worked on quite well, so that you're not having to constantly fiddle with the button and getting confused with yourself. And that also comes with the additional 4 USBs. Yep. Okay, so you can still afford a little bit more beautiful, so we will have a look at the Allure Premium for you. Now this is where we get into the Peugeot 3D iCockpit. Now it's something that's been a little bit redesigned. If I go and have a look at that for you in a second, basically the actual cockpit itself is 3D. The navigation, because it does, I'm not sure whether it mentions it here, the jump in next generation technology with the Peugeot 3D iCockpit and 3D heads-up instrument panel display. Now, it's not necessarily a heads-up display, as you will notice for a lot of cars. It just technically means that the navigation itself moves onto the actual dashboard as you're looking at it, rather than it being on the screen on your left-hand side. It means it goes onto that. Yeah. So we want to have a look at that. No worries. Yeah, the GT jumps up. There's not that much difference in terms of progression. It's more just different options. So what are we looking? So first of all, did you want it in a petrol, diesel or electric? We've already ruled out the electric because it does put the price up a fair chunk. Yep, so just petrol. Petrol's fine. Were you looking at the 100 on brake horsepower or the 130 SNS? 130, okay, yeah, so we're trying to keep it, the budget was about 350 to 400, okay. See, we could go for the E8 SNS, but it's an 8-speed automatic. Are you looking for manual? Okay, I know there is a lot of people that will only choose manual nowadays, and then a lot of people that will only go automatic, so it's completely like personal preference, isn't it? Yep, no worries. So we'll choose that. So this is the orange Fusion that it comes in. This is the base, yeah, that's the base model. However, I do have to point out that there is not many available, and if you were to choose this, that you will be waiting for approximately like 3 to 4 months for the vehicle, because it's the base model, it's the one that everyone chooses, and because it's a funky colour that's not necessarily white, grey or black, it's the one that everyone chooses. So at the end of the day, it does end up being a bit more difficult to get hold of. So with that, know that in mind. You're not a fan. Okay, no worries. So we have the white, again, being the second. It's the one that if people don't quite like the orange, because a lot of people only like basic colours and the non-metallic colours, it is the one that people choose because it's only an extra £7 a month. So you don't want white either. Okay, so if we look at these, we get the pearl white, which comes in this nice pearl sort of shiny colour. We have the elixir red, which again is another metallic colour, very similar to the orange Fusion, but obviously in red. And then blue in the blue. That's the one that you will have seen outside. Not a fan of those. Okay, so we've narrowed it down to the grey, black, or we have 2 greys. We have what I call the light grey, which is the cumulus grey, and then we have the nimbus grey, which is a lot darker. And it's my personal preference actually, because if we see here, you can see that the car sort of doesn't blend in with these other grey accents. If you have black, very similar. Obviously people like the black cars, but when the actual trim and the tyres themselves aren't necessarily as dark as the paint, it can sometimes look a little bit off, but we have managed to match up the best we can the dark grey to accent the actual greys on the car, so it just looks nice and sleek. So that's perfect. Okay, so we'll keep that selected. We will select that. So the interior, we only have one interior, which is the tri-material cozy leather effect. And the Isabella Mistral cloth seat trim. So if we take a look at this, can we actually zoom in? We cannot. If we go 360, will it give us the inside view? No, it does not, because it's a pain. So if you wanted to look at the car in more detail, here it is. So like I was saying, if you were to look at it from the side view, it looks very, like the front looks very rounded, and then the back looks quite sharp. If you were to actually look at it from the front view, if it gives us a front or back view, not quite, of course. But you can see it has these lines and it has nice little accents, and it does look very, very nice indeed. But here is where I can talk you through. If I zoom in, it does work. That's beautiful. We can see. So this is the new with the Allure Premium. You do get the bigger screen, the 10-inch. I think it's a 10-inch or it might be an 8-inch screen. We'll take a look at that again in a minute. But here's where you get the 3D cockpit. So your indicators are actually on these little things instead of having it on your dashboard around here when you indicate right or left and it goes right, left. The right one's on this side, the left one's on this side, and it actually is something that I noticed when they first came in and I really liked. With the interior, you have these nice blue accents to the cloth, and it makes it look quite nice. And then we have what we call the piano keys down here. Now the piano keys are actual clicky buttons, so you've got your hazards and all your fan controls and anything you need inside the car. Now with the Allure Premium and the 3DI cockpit, you do get the bigger screen, and you also get buttons along this top row. You won't be able to see them as specific on this diagram, but there are extra buttons, but they're all touchscreen rather than actual clicky buttons, and that controls where here you can see, you've got your little indicators there, so like your music, your fan speed control is all on here. That gets all these buttons here, the touchscreen buttons, get replaced with a larger screen, and your buttons get placed along here. So it makes it a lot nicer and a lot more sleek. Now what you will notice with this is you've got your speedometer here. This is all fully customizable. You can set it to your own and have whatever you want. So if you say you have your own preset for when you get in the car, and it is stop-start technology as well, and keyless entry. So have your keys in your pocket, you click start, choose which profile you want, and you can have your speedometer here, here or here. You can have it set however, but like I was trying to say, the navigation, instead of having the navigation on here or on a heads-up display here, it actually moves onto this bit, which is really good. It makes it so easy so you can look down, see the speed you're going and where you're going at the same time, instead of having to go right, check my speed, check the nav, focus on the road, check where I'm going, is it left turn, yes, or what's my speed, puts it all in one place for you, speed and nav, and then you can focus on the road. It's a little bit more safety conscious in that respect. So moving on, obviously, like I said, we have the tricozy material, and it does come with this light blue, but it's the same one as the one out there. Yeah, no worries. So in car entertainment and thingy, we have the 10-inch touchscreen that comes with the 3D navigation TomTom Live updates. That's what I was trying to talk to you about. Yeah, I will talk you through this. So that does get added, and let me move on. Safety and security. Advanced grip control, we don't need that. Spare wheel preparation, we don't need that. And the driver assist pack, adaptive cruise. It actually comes with cruise control, and this is just adaptive driver assist cruise control, so you should be fine without it. Comfort and convenience. It does come with the heated seats, and it does come with the open and go. So that's just me adding it on for you. No worries. This will all get thinking in a minute, because we will add you onto the friends and family discounts, so that will get extra off. So that is pretty much your car, and we're going to add it the finance. No worries. So we are going on passport. You've offered a £700, put £800 cash deposit. You're going to 15,000 miles. We want to recalculate, and that's coming in at £400. That's well within your budget, so we'll relook at that later. No worries. So obviously that can be changed at a later date if needs be, obviously. So right now what we'll do is we'll take you for a look around the car and see whether it's something that you're interested in. Okay, no worries. So as you can see, we have the colour in the light grey, not the dark grey, currently on show. It has the nice arrowed side panels and the big 17-inch diamond cut alloy wheels that are very, very nice. We have the rear bumper that has the dual exhaust system and the Peugeot logo on the back. Of course, the windows are blacked out, and you have the nice 3-piece brake and indicator piece. Coming up to the So as you can see from the driver's seat, we have the new 3D cockpit. We will take another look at that in a little later. We have your 17 to 18 inch screen with clicky buttons on the what is called the piano keys. And right now I accidentally turned the hazard lights on. But the lock button for the car, as well as the rear and front screen fog lights, not fog lights, air conditioning units. We have a USB-C port on the left hand side and a USB 2.0 port on the right hand side. Hello YouTube, you can see my reflection. We have a space down here for keys or phone or whatever you'd like. We also have a place here which, if you buy the GT version, is where the charging plate would be. And we have a space for what is sunglasses. And it's quite spacious, lots of little compartments. Obviously we have the gear stick right next to where my arm is, if I don't show you that. And if you can see on the right hand side, you have the rubber pedals. In the GT version, they do come as metallic. We have a 120 volt, if I've read that correctly, plug-in, which at the minute is connected to a dash cam with a little air freshener, and you can see me, so I'll say hello again. Above us, I don't know if you got that, but that was the LED system. For the thing, we have a nice carbon fibre trim there, but there is also an SOS button on the light above you. So nice. We have speakers, one on the right, one on the left. They are mounted on the chassis of the car. And then we have the nice light blue, well, what I'd consider a light dark blue, almost a grey, faux leather interior with the fabric. We have the automatic handbrake park button, as well as the drive mode button and your gear stick. We have a look into the back. We can see obviously it's very, very spacious right now. I'm just showing you the back to USB panels as well, which are located in the back of the car, and you have the map pockets on the back of the seats. Now going back into the front, we're going to turn the engine on, and I am going to adjust the steering wheel just because it was annoying me, and the air conditioning came on and it was quite loud, so bear with me a few seconds because I have to start the car just to move the steering wheel. There we go. And then I thought I could turn it off and the dash to stay up, but it doesn't. It says goodbye. Look, it has a nice smiley face. So give me a second while I turn the car back on. There we go. So we do have a DAB radio. You can see the screen is rather large, and whilst we have the piano keys, we also have the touchscreen ones just above it, so that brings up the music. There we go. We have the fan control button, so you can adjust the fans with a nice few little clicks of the button. We have the navigation, which for some reason it was taking a little while to load. I think it was because it was also on my dashboard at the time, and sometimes it gets a little bit funny with both of them up. I also then took it to the car mode, which tells you a little bit about the car when that wants to load. I think with the navigation it was just loading the streets, which took a while. There's other settings you can play around with the stop-start, parking sensors, traction control, under inflation initialization. It will do a vehicle check. So there are the driving functions. We have the car button, so I can ring whoever I want straight from the car, and it comes up with a little number pad. And there is also, your connected apps, so Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for when you plug your phone in as well. And then the profile selection, so I move it into mine from my mum's. You will also see you can change the colours. I have chosen the lime green. I think it's really nice. And then moving on to what is the dashboard, one of my favourite functions, which is a 3D dashboard. Apologies for the slight bit of dust on the actual screen, but I'm pretty sure you can see. We have the drive-in function, which shows you the car in a lane. It will tell you if you're veering off the lane and if the car's too close. The dials, which is basically your average standard, petrol gauge, temperature and speedometer. You can scroll through all the functions. Me personally, I have it on the navigation itself because it brings up the maps directly onto your dashboard, and you can see where you're driving. If you have your directions set, it will also show you on your dashboard too. We have the window wipers. One click down turns on the automatic wiper function. You have the left indicator, which is actually located on the outside of the cockpit, or the 3DI cockpit as they call it. And obviously your left and right goes on either side of those depending on which way you are turning, which I quite like. We do have the steering wheel function, which turns up and down the volume. we have this button which cycles through the radio stations, and your call button has a nice Peugeot logo on your airbag/horn. And a nice leather steering wheel, a nice small leather steering wheel. The small steering wheel actually feels really good when you turn it in tight circles. But overall, this is the car. I turn it back to music, and you can also obviously set the frequency from DAB to FM, depending on which one you fancy, or which radio stations you want to listen to. There is a list, so you don't have to keep scrolling through. You can literally pick the ones that you want to listen to. And there's also the sources function where you can choose whether you want Bluetooth, which I do. And obviously I'm at the minute listening to Pete and Baz, so Numbers comes up from their quick little mixtape. So we have the volume rocker on the left as well as on the steering wheel we have 2 buttons. And we have a nice little compartment to keep all of your little bits in if it needs be. So I hope you have enjoyed this tour of the car. So everybody, I'm just doing this last bit in my car. As you have seen, the car is absolutely lovely. I feel like I'm driving a tank, but I thought this would be a really sort of cool little way of doing this sort of video. Let's get good lighting. There we go. Yeah, I just thought it'd be a nice little fun way to do a sort of car tour / look at little bits and pieces. Obviously, take no note of the finance options and the stuff like that, because that was all done retrospective of how we actually went in and paid for it. Because obviously that was, when I was designing the car, that was when we thought that's the car that we want, we'll go and test drive it. But obviously we went in, they gave us big discounts on the car, so we're not paying anywhere near that amount, luckily. Yeah, don't take any of that, that was just part of the role play. But the car itself is really nice. I really enjoy driving it. It is a 6-speed manual, so I'm quite happy about that. It's got different drive modes. It hasn't got the reverse camera on it because we had to get a different spec of the car because it was the only one available, but it is lovely. So, hope you guys have enjoyed, and I shall catch you later.